Robinhood is done. Take a look at this. We now have a subpoena coming in from the SEC over crypto listings and custody in regards to Robinhood. This comes at a very bad time for them, as their stock has plateaued since this time last year. If you look at the last year of Robinhood stock, if we go to the same exact month last year, is that $10 now? Guess what it's at? $10. Now, yes, we did see in the last month a slight increase right here from $8 to $10. That's good to see, kind of. But at the same time, the writing is on the wall at this point. You need to take your money off of Robinhood as quickly as you can if you have a lot on there. And of course, it's fine to keep some on Robinhood, but do not keep too much on Robinhood. Especially don't hold all of your Dogecoin there. That's a very bad idea. Robinhood and Coinbase stock jump. Crypto regulation fears might be fading. There are some articles that are trying to cover for them and make it seem like everything's okay. But when we look under the hood, we can see there's a lot more under the Robinhood, that is. There's a lot more that we need to be concerned about than what is just simply on the surface. Take a look at this. Gary Gensler, SEC chairman, had the following to say about cryptocurrency. Everything other than Bitcoin, you can find a website, you can find a group of entrepreneurs. They might set up their legal entities in a tax haven offshore. They might even have a foundation. They might lawyer it up and try to arbitrage and make it hard jurisdictionally. You can't do it. They might even drop their tokens overseas at first or pretend that it's going to take 6 months before they come back into the US, Gary continued without naming any specific currencies. Clearly, though, he has a few in mind. And so all of this is to say that there's going to be some additional scrutiny for sure on cryptocurrency. They may also take their tokens overseas. Even that is not a way to get away from it anymore. But at the core, these tokens are securities, he says, because there's a group in the middle and the public is anticipating profits based on that group. So here's what this means. Step one, we're going to potentially see some regulations, like, for example, you won't be able to sell and then buy back and find a tax loophole as a result of that. You're also going to have some places where we may have more verification that's required for wallets. That's potentially coming. Now, I don't necessarily see if they have a way to do that at this point. It may be a little difficult, but they clearly want to. And so Gary Gensler does, at the very least. I don't think the entire agency has the same goal necessarily, but it's a little scary to see that. But at the core, these tokens are securities because there's a group in the middle. The good news about that, though, is Dogecoin does not fall under that. Dogecoin, fortunately, is very much so a decentralized cryptocurrency, and so it's very hard for Gary or the SEC to make a case that Dogecoin is a security. It's quite the opposite of a security, in fact, and anyone who tries to claim it is just simply doesn't understand crypto, and that's actually true with a lot of cryptocurrencies. The more decentralized, the better. But at the end of the day, after this, in December 2022, following the 2022 crypto bankruptcies, we received an investigative subpoena from the SEC regarding, among other topics, RCH's reported Robinhood cryptos, reported cryptocurrencies, custody and cryptocurrencies in the platform's operations. And so we're learning in December of 2022, this subpoena came out. They're looking at a potential new investigation here. Robinhood, remember, already had to pay $30 million with a recent fine. And that was in regards to not having the proper resources and attention to develop and maintain, quote, a culture of compliance. So they've already been hit with a big fine. And another one is likely coming here. This one could be significantly bigger. It's the second offense. Because it took a few months for this news to come out, it now makes more sense why we have seen some of the things we have seen with the price of Robinhood stock. It was at $11 at the beginning. If you look at the last 6 months, you can see there was a peak of $12. Now, though, it is down. That was in November. It actually had December. That was when we saw the thing hit. Only people with inside the company would have actually known the subpoena happened. And so they actually clearly sold off some of their own personal stock. In some ways, that's insider trading. We have seen a bit of a bounce back from the average trader, but at the point when we see Robinhood potentially getting another massive fine, we don't need Robinhood. It's time to move your Dogecoin off of Robinhood if you have a heck of a lot on there. If you have a little bit on there, I mean, whatever. But I would not, under any circumstances, hold all of your investments, all of your crypto, or even a large amount on Robinhood. Be very careful doing that. Because who knows if they could declare bankruptcy if they get hit with, say, a $100 million fine instead of a $30 million fine this time. Can they really weather that? What can they weather? How much strength do they have? Can they hold back the dam of pressure? They may not be able to. And that's where it starts to get intense. That's where it starts to get scary, because you really don't know what could be in store for Robinhood until the bell hits, until we see the hammer drop. More so, Dogecoin will become a multi-planet currency, so Dogecoin will be worth more than any currency. Says me, long zero, imitate. This tweet getting some nice traction on Twitter, of course. But in 2023, This guy's wearing a Dogecoin t-shirt. I found this very amusing. Now, I didn't see this on the day of the Super Bowl, but it's been brought to my attention. Someone showed me this. In 2023, the guy's wearing a Dogecoin shirt. People are mocking Elon Musk. Some people are, at least. They're making fun of him for wearing a Dogecoin shirt. And that's, in a way, exactly what we want to see. We want to be doubted. We want to be the underdogs. We want to be the people who no one thinks can succeed, because that's where Dogecoin's bread and butter is. That's where it's the most successful. By the way, if you want to press the like button, that would certainly be helpful to do. We have, right now, at this current moment in time, under 20 likes. I believe we can get significantly more than that. 180 of us here today, right now. So let's see how many of us can press that like button and get the stream out to more people. And as the channel continues to build users and to build the community, we're going to undoubtedly be able to have the specific reach of Dogecoin content and get further. That's what we want to see. So yeah, press like, help Dogecoin content get further out into the interwebs. My freak out, I sold everything on Robinhood. You freaked me out, I sold everything on Robinhood, says Joe. You don't have to sell everything. You just have to not hold it on Robinhood. You can transfer it off of Robinhood now as well. Just send it in periods in small chunks. But yes, I think that's an overall positive thing. I mean, if you're saying you sold it all and you're never going to buy it back, well, that's a little bit of a different story. You may very much regret that decision come the next Dogecoin spike. But I mean, hey, it's your call. You can do whatever the heck you want. My Doge is on Robinhood, says John O'Brien. How much do you have, John? How much do you have on Robinhood? Are you gonna move some of it off? That's pretty easy to do. You can get a wallet, like for example, my Doge wallet, or you can go to dogechain.dog/bridge. If you go bridge your Dogechain on dogechain.dog, you can easily take your Dogecoin and put it in the form of wrapped Dogecoin on your MetaMask wallet. Just download the MetaMask app. I actually have a full video showing how to do that I'm going to be releasing soon. And so anyone who's interested in moving your Dogecoin off of Robinhood, I can show you the best way, easiest way that is to do that. Because yes, you can actually now hold Dogecoin on MetaMask essentially in one of the most trusted ways possible. Matt, it didn't hit $1 before 2023. You're supposed to delete your channel, says Jiro. Jiro, my friend, I did delete my channel. I never said which one I was going to delete. I deleted one of my channels when Dogecoin didn't hit $1 in 2022. Now it's 2023, and the same exact reason why I believed in 2022 was going to hit $1 is most likely going to actually come true in 2023, which is the Dogecoin moon landing from Elon Musk. We're getting closer and closer and closer every single day that goes by. Come on, Elon, what are you waiting for? Look at that. That face when you accidentally make Matt Wallace delete one of his channels because you don't put Dogecoin on the moon in 2022 and you have to wait till 2023. There we go. That's the face. That's that face. It is. And I mean, Elon Musk. Remember, Elon Musk started with 100K in debt. And he told I posted this picture on Twitter and he responded. I posted this. It's inspirational to look at that. It's Elon Musk, and that's the kid who became the richest man on earth. Just a normal kid, right? I mean, smarter obviously than the average teenager, but still, it's cool to see Elon Musk go from humble upbringing or I guess not necessarily humble in every way, but his father was not a good person, is still not a good person in my opinion, says rude things constantly, and didn't give him the best life, didn't treat him and his mom with the way a dad should treat their family. And so as a result of that, Elon Musk did have some hardship, and he wasn't given a golden spoon by any means. He had to work hard for everything he earned, and he told me back when I was 100K in debt. So in this photo, he was 100K in debt. Crazy thing. So he's 20-something in this photo. Now he's 50-something. And in that short amount of time, 30 years, I guess it's pretty long in the context of a crypto, where everything goes in hyperspeed. But overall, I mean, 30 years to get $200 billion, that's crazy. I mean, it's like $20 billion a year. Wait, no, it's not true. Whatever, screw that. It's early, okay? My math skills are... My instant math skills aren't on point. Well, let's actually take a second to do this math. So he's worth $200 billion, 30 years. We're looking at what? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess, we're looking at it around per year. If we, man, that starts to 1 billion, yeah, around 7-8 billion. I guess that's not off. I guess that's not that far off. My math actually was better than I thought. You just have to question when you're live. When you're live, you have to question it because you could be embarrassing yourself. You don't even know. I guess I was my instincts on my math were actually a little bit closer than I thought. Dogecoin as such. I mean, I don't know. I personally still enjoy the memes. I do. FDA doesn't cover crypto, says ELH Flix. Who's that? FDA? You're talking about the Federal Drug Administration? No, I mean, they don't, but the SEC certainly does. Are you someone must have commented that. I don't know. You can't be talking to me. 250K says that John O'Brien. I've held in 2021 on the Robinhood. So John is now revealing to us the amount he holds, 250K, which I believe at this point is worth around the amount of a car. So you have an entire car sitting on an exchange that could at any point go bankrupt. That's a little risky. A little risky. Unless you have only a small percentage of portfolio there, I would definitely be a little bit worried. But not to be concerned too much, John, because if you want to, you can move some of that off Robinhood right now. I would if I were you. If you want to keep it on there, I mean, you may have a warning sign first. You may be okay. You might be able to take it off. It probably wouldn't be a problem. There's a chance Robinhood's not going to go bankrupt. Maybe everything will be fine. But is that chance you're willing to take? That's the question, and I'm personally not. Good morning, Matt and family. At the point when I doubled my Dogecoin, that was when I removed almost the entirety of the remaining amount of the Dogecoin I had on Robinhood off of it. Now I have essentially, I have a tiny little bag on there, but I have almost no Dogecoin on Robinhood anymore. Good morning, Matt and family. It says Doge for life. Good morning to you as well. Beautiful morning indeed. As we have seen, some nice things on Twitter, some nice things in the market. But overall, just a normal day. We're still waiting for, remember that feeling of the bull market? We're still waiting for that again. It will happen. And it will most likely happen before the end of 2024, almost certainly. But it'll most likely happen even before then. Did you hear about the train? Oh yeah, I heard about the train in Florida. No, what are you talking about? There's a train in Florida too? Oh gosh, here we go. Oh no, train Florida. I thought you were gonna say the train in Ohio. Train carrying propane derails in Florida. No leakage reported. Train carrying 30,000 gallons. 30,000 gallons. That's a heck of a lot of gallons. Derails in Florida. Let's go ahead and say, we'll look at this. Okay, it seems like the derailment of this train does not have the same impact that the one in Ohio had. Just based on this initial article, 6 train cars, including 2 carrying propane, derailed in Manatee County, Florida on Tuesday, according to the train's operator, Simone Gulf Railroad. There's no immediate danger or leaks. Yeah, that would be really terrifying. I mean, that would be like an atomic level disaster. I mean, just imagine that caught on fire. An entire 30,000 gallons of propane catches on fire. I mean, who knows how big the boom of that would be? It'd be very bad. Fortunately, though, it seems to be okay. I mean, I don't know how in the world they get these massive trains back on tracks. That's going to be a very difficult thing to do, and also you have to wonder, after this keeps happening, I mean, at what point do they figure out a solution? I mean, if you just simply had a computer at the front of the train, or you had a train that runs in front, like a little tiny mini train that actually tests the tracks and makes sure everything's okay with the computer first, you combine that with mandatory checks on these trains to make sure they're compliant and that the systems are operating. You add more computers to the engines of these trains, so there's alert systems in place and things like that. It doesn't seem like it'll be that difficult to fix this problem. And so if it continues for much longer, now it's a good thing it's getting publicity, because have you really heard much about train derailments before the last few weeks and the last month? Probably not so much, but now it's really becoming more prominent. And as a result, I think there may be action in place. I heard something like 1,000 train derailments happen a year, or something ridiculous like that, which doesn't make any sense at all to me. I mean, I remember hearing that stat. If that's true, that's insane. How many train derailments a year? All right, there we go. We're looking at 2022. Yeah, that's insane. 1,044 train derailments. How do you have that many train derailments in a single year? 4.2% increase, so it's not increasing, but still, that's ridiculous. I mean, we have enough technology now that you don't have any excuse for that anymore. I mean, what the heck is going on here? How many trains are there in the U.S.? Well, let's look at what percentage of trains derail. Now that would be a conclusion we need to figure out. How many trains? That's not what I googled. Okay, I'll just whatever. Google's too stupid for my question. How many trains in U.S.? America's freight loaders are privately owned. 630 railroads operate across nearly 140,000. How many trains are there, though? I don't know. I mean, 28,000 locomotives. Okay, so 28,000 trains, and there's 1,000 derailments a year. That stat just doesn't make any sense. So you have a 1 in 150 chance. That's ridiculously high of a train derailment. And if that's per year, the chances of that each train's eventually going to derail. Almost every train will eventually derail, I guess. I mean, that's how's that not been fixed yet? What? I mean, perhaps there's like some sort of slip here. Like maybe the data is suggesting that some of these train derailments are minimal. Like one wheel comes off the track and they just put it back on or something. Like maybe that counts as a train derailment. But I just can't imagine like full scale entire train off the tracks type of thing, Ohio level type of thing, even close. I just can't imagine that consistently happens at that level. It really boggles the mind. Yeah, Pete Booty. You said Pete Buttigieg. What? Said that this happens 1Ks of times a year. So who cares? What? Well, you still need to care. I mean, just because it happens a lot doesn't mean you can't care. In fact, that would be the exact reason to care even more, not to care less. That's a dumb thing to say. Train carrying propane tanker derails in Florida. I mean, I wonder if this will get. I mean, it's not going to get the same level of publicity, obviously, as the Ohio one, because it doesn't seem like there's any leaks. But I mean, at this point, 100-foot section of the road snapped in half. A domino effect, he said. One car jumped the track and flipped, and that put the next car, and so on, until the inertia stops enough that the last car just unbuckled. That makes sense. Bounds said that an effort to upright the propane tanker would occur in the coming days. According to the Bounds crews monitoring the site, equipped with gas monitoring equipment, and local businesses have been notified about the derailment. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office is providing security to the site. The scene is as safe as it can be right now. Short of that tank being on the side, there is no problem, Bounds said. All right, well, that could be worse. That could be a worse story. It's not that bad. Vice President, Solomon Gulf Railroad. I mean, it seems like the railroad was the problem here, not the train. Whereas I believe in the Ohio one, it was the train more so that was the problem than the railroad. But regardless, I mean, this could easily be solved by just simply having a little robot train, which I guess technically all trains are robots, but like a self-driving little mini train. You could even make a little robot, like a Roomba-sized robot. Maybe it'd have to be a little bit bigger to have some sort of power source. You could even make a tiny little robot, though, that just goes on one track. And you have two of them going on each track, and they just go down the tracks and make sure everything is up to par. It would probably make more sense to just do a slightly bigger robot, electronic powered train that's very lightweight and just travels across the tracks and is able to test ahead of time. And you'd have to design it so that if it ever does get hit, it just gets hit off the tracks and doesn't cause the train to derail. Something like that. If you put that safety mechanism in place, I feel like that would decrease the number of train derailments by at least 90%. Because then you would know ahead of time, hey, there's a problem with the tracks, the train needs to stop, needs to be fixed. And yeah, it would cause a delay on the train, but it's better than the train derailing. That's going to be a much larger delay. Need upgrades as well, says John O'Brien. Yeah, I mean, upgrades too certainly would make sense. What app do I use for what? I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Maybe see it's hard with the comment section because I don't know if there's a conversation going on in the comment section or if you're talking to me. It could be either one. A mini cybertrain. There you go. Doge for life. Doge for life has the right way of thinking about it. A mini cybertrain. By the way, did you hear Elon Musk? He's actually planning to make a new AI mechanism. So there's OpenAI, which has made ChatGPT. That though, obviously, going a little bit too woke. I don't think there's any denying that. And so as a result, Elon Musk wants to make a based AI, which I think is a good idea. I mean, we need to have woke AI, based AI, but at least one of each. Or you can just have an in the middle AI, but no one wants to make that. So I mean, good luck with that. I guess based AI would technically, I mean, in theory, if Elon Musk made it, it would be pretty bipartisan. It would be pretty fair. Based doesn't necessarily mean it's one side or the other. I guess that is worth keeping in mind. Also, oh yeah, wait, Twitter down's trending. I wonder what that's about. Elon on Twitter today. That's funny. Anyone else noticed their feed is not refreshing? Oh, well, all of them are slipping. That's a pretty good video. That look, you look at that. There's a live view of train tracks in the United States right now. They all keep falling off the tracks. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Elon Musk Tesla investor day today. Yeah, it's exciting. What's the safest crypto exchange and wallets currently? The safest crypto exchange, I mean, if you're looking United States based, probably Kraken, I think. That's relatively safe. Then you also are looking at Coinbase. Those are really your two options. Coinbase being US based. Those are your two options, but I highly recommend not even doing any exchange at all. Don't do any mainstream entity. Use MetaMask. And if you want to be holding your Dogecoin on MetaMask, all you have to do is go to dogechain.dog/bridge, and you can swap your Dogecoin for wrapped Dogecoin, which will always be worth 1 Doge. And you can do that directly through the website in a matter of minutes. And then boom, now you have your Dogecoin. Instead of on Robinhood, you now have it on you now have it directly on your MetaMask, which is nice. Decentralized. You don't have to worry about anyone at that point. It's the best, by far the best way to do it. Robinhood #1 in the world, says Dennis Robinson. Not anymore. It for a time it was one of the #1 in the world. It's currently no longer that. It has been surpassed in almost every way by many other platforms. I'm getting a ledger, but I mean, yeah, I understand if you like it. If you want to use it, just use it at your own risk. It's not a bad design platform. It has cool graphics and stuff. So I mean, there's some things going for it. But anyway, I'm at Wallace. This is Final Stand, and I'll see you in the next video.